need to get very good at handling pressure. It seems like many men in the society are not good at handling pressure. They have so much money, they have all these things, but they're never good at handling pressure. The second they go through hardship, they fold internally upon themselves. You cannot operate this way. You need to get very adept at handling pressure. The better you become at handling pressure, the better man you become. When things get hard, people allow life to take them from their occupations or take them from whatever their business and their motives is. When hard things happen, when people get sick, when people die, they let these things put them into a trap. You need to get very good at understanding that life is not always going to be good. Just because you have money, just because you're making all this money, just because you're rich and successful, you're still going to go through hardship, and you need to become very, very adept and very, very selective with your thinking when it comes to going through hardship and pressure. Most people cannot handle pressure. Most people cannot handle it. They fold on themselves. That's weak. So we talk a lot about money, talk about making this money, talk about doing this and that. Let's get a bunch of money. But most of you cannot even handle the pressure. When bad things happen, you're sitting around with thousands of dollars in your bank account, hundreds of thousands and millions in your bank account. You still can't even handle the pressure that comes. You need to control your mind. When you go through hardship, when you go through bad things in life, you become better and better each time you go through hardship. I understand this completely. Every time something bad has happened, I look around and say, I am exactly who I thought I was. Every single time something bad has happened in my life, I look around and say, I'm exactly who I thought I was. Every single time. I can't be defeated. Nothing in life can defeat me. I'm preem. So your mind needs to become unbreakable. You need an unbreakable mind. You need to become very, very unshakable. Now, I talk about this in my free Telegram, t.me/preem operations. The link in the description, you can join, it's free. But I want you to understand that no matter how much money you make, there is still pressure. Life will happen. No matter how much we sit in here and positively think, people still have to die one day. No matter how much we want to shield our minds from all of the problems that may happen, it still may happen. So you need to develop a mind that is prepared to go through hardship. You need to develop a mind that is prepared to go through hardship and pain. You need to come out smiling regardless. Be of good cheer, smiling. I can't stand people who, as soon as pain comes, as soon as some hardship or some rain is outside, they immediately fold. I can't stand these people. I do not like these people. They're easily emotionally manipulated. As soon as something bad happens, they're already panicking. Where's your sensibility? Where's your rational thought? Where's your mind control? You can't control your own emotions? I can't stand to be around these people. I can't stand it. They can't even think. They can't even think and use their brain when some bad things are happening. It's annoying. And it angers me. Because why are you so weak mentally? Then you have so many people, they don't even want to understand information. They don't even want to understand the fullness of the world. They don't even want to understand the truth. You sit here and try and tell someone the truth. They're mad, don't even let you elaborate on the truth. You're trying to tell them the truth, like calm down. Like calm down. Stop being so emotionally reactive when you're under pressure. Pressure makes diamonds. Coals turn into diamonds through pressure. So if you can't even allow yourself to be molded into a diamond through this pressure, then what's the point? What's the point? And I know a lot of men feel this way. A lot of men feel like, man, we're born into a bullshit world with no inherent value. We have to build these things up. We're born and brought up with no father, no necessary father figures. They was all in prison and all these things happened. And we're brought up into a world. As a man, you have to learn yourself and go out here and do all these things. All this is bullshit. I know a lot of men feel this way. It is bullshit. It is bullshit. But the fact that it's bullshit give us power. It give us so power. It give us so much power. The fact that this whole world is full of bullshit. That we have to go out here and we were born into a world without permission. That's why, just quick rant. Did we choose to come down to this bullshit world? No, listen. Was we all sitting in heaven looking down and saying, okay, let's go out into the world? Did they ask our permission to bring us into this bullshit world? Like, parents really sat there and said, you know what? Without his permission, we finna bring him into the world. He finna have to develop and go through pain, go through hardship, go through struggle. People die, friends leave. You have to make a bunch of money. Everything happening. He have to go out to the wilderness and train. Things have to break down. He have to lose a bunch of money. He have to go through all this hardship. Let's just birth them. So we're, in fact, grew up in a world that we did not adhere to. We, in fact, grew up into a world where we did not give permission to be born. We grew up and thrown into the world, basically. Just say, here, we don't get here. Go out into the world and figure it out. So as a man, you need to get very, very comfortable with that. We've been thrown out into a world where we have to build our value. So it starts from scratch. So you need to be very hard on your own self. The harder you are on yourself, the less hard life can be upon you. Life can't be hard upon you if you're hard upon yourself. And a lot of people say my messaging is harsh. That's okay, and I'm perfectly fine with that, because I sit and think, if I'm harsh on myself, if I'm hard on myself, and I talk to myself this way and say, cut out the bullshit and cut out the garbage and all of this bullshit, then I'm going to tell you the same thing. I'm going to tell these people the same thing. Yes, you have money in your bank account, but what good is it if you can't even undergo pressure and stress? Some of you can't even, you have all this money in your bank account, but you need a coach. You need me to walk you through like a little baby. I need to hold your hand and walk you through. So I have a cohort. You can come and get my coaching, and I will walk you through the entire process. Most of you are nerds with money. You cannot handle the stress. You cannot handle the pressure of life. You have all this money, but your mind is broken. What's the point? Right? So I think everybody should start to develop a mindset that is capable of going through pressure and maintaining strength. I can sit here and smile through any circumstances. People around me sick. Families in the hospital. Girlfriend died. Money gone. Money gets stolen. Cars broken. And I still can smile. I can go through pain. I can go through pressure, and I can smile through the pain regardless of how I feel. So every man needs to adopt this mindset. If you don't have this mindset, what good is money? What good is money? Yes, you have a bunch of money, but what else? The second something bad happened, you collapse. The second some heartbreak happened with a girl, you collapse. Most of you don't even understand the relationship dynamics, the social dynamics. It's a lot of stuff that you need to learn about your mind and life if you want to truly become a formidable opponent, an elite status man. Elite status man is supreme. I'm an elite status man, and I learned this from my grandfather and my father. As I said, I grew up around gangsters and drug dealers and killers, and I grew up around pimps. They taught me this mindset. They taught me this mindset of how it looked to be. I didn't have to be in the streets. I was taught about it from a distance, and I seen it. So understand, I didn't want to live that route. I didn't want to go to prison. All the people I grew up with, they all went to prison and did these things. I learned the mindset from them. I sorted it out, said, no, I don't want to go to prison, but I do want to be successful. I don't want to go to prison. I don't want to do all this degeneracy, but I do want to be successful. And I picked that up, the hustle mentality, the gangster mentality. You need to walk through the earth as a formidable being. You need to walk through the earth with nothing that can touch you. You cannot be afraid of anything. And it seems like most of you lack this mindset, which is why I'm trying to teach it to you. You need to walk through the earth not fearing pressure. What are you afraid of? A little pain? Who cares? Get over it. Keep moving. Pain is going to happen. Bad things is going to happen. And there's going to be some things that's going to try to knock you off your grind. You must still keep working regardless. There's going to be some things that try to knock you off your business, off your work, off your purpose, everything. But you still need to maintain this pressure. You need to walk through and you need to emerge as a champion. Suddenly, the champion reappears. This is how you need to jump up and you need to look yourself in the mirror and say, suddenly, the man appears. Because most of you are not even the man yet. See, we keep talking about money. Most of you are rich. Most of you are rich and successful. And you still are not a man. It comes from having this internal balance, this unshakable mind, this impenetrable soul. That's what makes a man. An unconquerable soul. You can walk through the earth without fear, without all this bullshit. You can stand on your beliefs. Most of you can't even stand on your beliefs. The second of pressure, the second some confrontation or some pressure come, you collapse and fold. What's the point? Yeah, you have all this money, but what's the point if you cannot even control your own mind? Folding and crying every time some bad little thing happens. So what? Who cares? You're the only one that's going to care. Nobody can come and pick you up and sit you down and tell you everything to sort out your life. You're going to have to be the one to do it. When you go through the hardships and you feel like nobody there, you're sitting at the top of the mountain lonely by yourself, you're going to have to figure it out. Nobody else can truly figure it out for you. It's like, you have to imagine it like this. You're walking up the stairway to heaven, but you're building the stairs as you go. It's like a black abyss everywhere. But every time you build a step, you're just walking. But you're building the steps as you're walking up. And every time you look down, you're looking down at the ground like, damn, it's an abyss up under me. But I know the only pathway forward is to keep building the stairways up. That is the life of a man. That is the life you're supposed to live. You need to walk through the earth believing and knowing that you can handle pressure and stress and pain and hardship and still smile through it. The reason why I talk about these things so much is because without it, what is life? What is life if you don't have a story to tell? What is life if you're not sitting on your deathbed and you're telling all your grandchildren and telling all your great-great-grandchildren, you know, I live a wonderful, fantastic life. I got to do everything I wanted to do. I was out training in the wilderness. Cars was breaking. I didn't know how to make money, and I figured it out. Got rich. Did this. Did that. Traveled the world. People died. Friends left. What is life without the bad parts? It's the story. Something could have went wrong. I still made it out. But this could have went bad. This went bad, but I still made it. That's the whole point. You need to become very adept at handling pressure, and until you can do that, you're not a man. I don't care what nobody tell you on the internet. You're just a boy with money if you cannot handle pressure. That's it. I can handle pressure. I can go out into the wilderness and fast with no food, no water for days in a tent and come back alive. Out in the water, in the jungle, with animals and still survive. I can be anywhere on earth. Place me there. Put me under pressure. More pressure. Fuck it. What else can you do? What else can you do? Send all the pressure in the world. Send all the hardships. I'ma still keep fighting through, and I'ma still keep going. What else is it? What else you want to take? See, you need this mindset. You need to have a fuck you mentality. You need to look at the devil, look at the matrix in the face, and say, fuck you. Every bad problem that happens to me, I look around and say, fuck you. Some bad thing, Preem, some bad things just happened. Preem, some bad things just happened. Fuck you. That's how I look at my problems. If something bad just happened, or I lost some money on some crypto, or so, I just look and say, fuck you. So whenever something bad happened, I look and just say, fuck you, and I keep going. You need a fuck you mentality. Quit letting the world destroy your mind. Quit letting bullshit destroy your mind. Bad things is going to happen. You need to become very comfortable with bad things happening. See, it's a lot of people online who wants to shield the mind from bad things happening. Don't do that. Just sit there and absorb it all. Every time something bad has happened, any pain, any suffering, I sat there and absorbed it all. Gathering my chi. And I just started smiling. Laughing. Real ones know that I used to rap, right? I still kind of do. But real ones know I used to be a music artist. I used to rap, make music. And I was known as Joker. I was Joker Preem, or J Preem. And the Joker part of me, it was just laugh. It wasn't necessarily just genocide, just a genocide, Joker genocide. It was really me laughing at everything. I said on top of, it was the song. It's called Heat. If you go on SoundCloud, it's still out. I guess I'm plugging in my SoundCloud, my music, my old music. But J Preem, Heath. And this mindset is that. On top of the world, I'd be looking down. I'd be like, fuck them. You need to develop a mindset when you go through pressure. You need to say, fuck it. Whatever obstacle is in the way, you need to look at it and say, fuck you. I'm going to keep moving. Whatever obstacle, keep moving. Destroy all the obstacles. So I said, on top of my tip, I'll be looking down at all the clowns. There's some clowns in the world. They're absolute clowns. You need not be a clown. Clowns embarrass themselves for attention. They make fun of themselves for attention. You don't want to be like that. But you do want to be like the jester, laughing at everything. Turning truth into humor. Sitting up, I'm laughing at everything. Every time something bad has happened, I've always sat there and laughed. Laughing at the devil in his face. You can't stop me. What else do you want to take? So you need to develop this mindset. You need to be able to laugh through your circumstances, laugh through the pressure that happens. And as I said, I will teach you this mindset. You can click the link in the description. There's 2 different links. Was one free, and there's another link for my program. Now, with this program, I'll walk you through. It's an entire elite status transformation. Take you from a nerd into a formidable being and a formidable opponent. And if you don't want it, that's oh well. Stay a nerd. That's on you. You can't handle pressure. That's on you. If I'm telling you a solution and you still don't want it, hey, I'm not about to pressure you to even get it. That's on you. So I'll meet you there if you want that, because it's necessary in life. That as a man, when a woman look at you, you tell her all of the stories and the pain and the hardships that happen, she's going to look and say, damn, like, you went through all of that? Women respect it. Society respect men who went through hardship. Why do you think the veterans are always applauded, appraised? Because they went through hardship and made it back. Some of them died out there, cannon fodder. See, this is what a lot of men don't understand. We would have been cannon fodder a long time ago. If we were born in a different generation, we would have died in a ditch somewhere. And some of you be crying about your crypto, crying about losing a woman, and all this bullshit. We would have been died in a ditch. Let's say you watching this. If we were born a couple years, like literally not even that too long ago, and we were born together, we would have been enlisted in the army, and we would have been out running some ditch, and one of us would have died. Perhaps both of us would have died. Now, we have a better life than that. So you need to get very good at adapting to the pressure that brings to life. Perhaps we don't have to go to war, but this is still war. Me sitting up here trying to free your mind is war. Fighting the enemy, fighting the circumstances is war. Trying to get the best, trying to make a bunch of money is war. Trying to increase your influence is war. All of it is war. Handling the pressure of life is war. All of it. So you need to get very, very adept at adapting this mindset. As I said, I learned this mindset from my father, Craig G. I learned this mindset from grandfather Clutch Nolly, and I learned this mindset also from Pastor Atkins. These people helped me shape my mind and mold my mind in a certain way. These are men who went through hardship. They taught me certain things, and I got to look at it from firsthand experience. My grandfather survived in a house with no water, no food, until he died. He stayed in a house. The nigga stayed in that house by himself. With no food, no water. Nobody came to check up on him. Nobody. Nobody came and checked up on him. And when they finally did, they found him dead. But still, nobody came in. And he was just a hard man. Still talked about to this day. So reputation goes a long way. This is why I'm telling you. Get very, very good at handling pressure, and reputation will take you to a far extreme. They went through the street life. They went through the gangster life. They taught me all these things, and I got to see it from firsthand. And I constructed pain. I didn't want to live in the streets. Yeah, I tried to do what they do. I tried to do what they did. I tried to sell drugs before. None of that shit is bull. All of it is bullshit. You don't need to even do that. Once you find another way out, there's another way out. I knew for me, my way out was going to be orchestra. My way out was going to either be boxing, orchestra, it was karate, football, sports. It was going to be something. I knew that was going to be my way out. And I think a lot of the gangsters that I grew up around, a lot of the pimps that I grew up around, I think they all knew to a certain degree that the system was rigged. They knew that the system was rigged, which is why they never worked for the system. They knew they had to out. They knew they had to work for the system. They knew they didn't want to work for the system. So I always knew to a certain extent when I used to look around, these people weren't working for the system. They weren't working for the system. So I always knew to a certain degree that the system was always rigged. I knew it was always rigged. I always knew the world was bullshit. I always knew it was something about the world that was absolute complete bullshit. And I figured it out. And on top of that, I figured out that a lot of men have money. Because money has now become easier than ever before to make online and all these things. So a lot of you have money, but you're still a fucking nerd. You can't handle hardship and pressure. Some of you can't even talk to a woman long enough without getting nervous and all these different things, without fumbling and kerfuffling. So it's like you need this information. Yes, you're making X amount of money per month. Yes, all of it, but you need a coach. You need me to help you. Like some of you genuinely need help, and you know you need it. The first step is to understand that you need help. Every man needs mentors. As I said, I just named out the 3 mentors that I had. They shaped my reality, and they helped me become a man that I am today. Help mold my mind, help shape my mind to walk through the earth with absolute impenetrable force. And on top of that, Jesus. Learning from Jesus. So you need mentors. You need somebody that has an impenetrable mind to rise you above your current circumstances, because most of you do not know how to handle pressure. Most of you do not know how to build your mind. I grew up in the hood. Survival. Walking through the streets. Walking around. Getting jumped and shit. Because they couldn't take me one-on-one. So I'm walking through the hood by myself. They was in the game. I didn't want to be a gang. I always knew I didn't want to be a gang. But the little gang, when we was growing up, they would jump me because they couldn't do nothing by themselves. I was always by myself. Every time I caught one of they little ass by themselves, I kicked their ass. And you can ask them to this day. It's in the back of their mind. It's in the back of their head. Everybody that sit here and watch me, and they watch me on Instagram, and they watch me on all this stuff, y'all used to be in the little gang, and y'all used to try to jump me when we was little. And I used to kick your ass every time you was by yourself. You know exactly who I'm talking. You know who I'm talking to. I used to put you in your place when you was by yourself. And you just try to jump up in gangs. So I didn't want to be in the gang. I just wanted to be successful. So I used to walk through the earth. I used to walk by myself. So they used to try and jump me and do all these different things. So that developed my mind to a certain extent. Even when I used to go to school, even when I wasn't even in the hood no more. Moved out the hood for about a year. Like 6th grade, moved out the hood for about a year, 6th, 7th grade. Went to another school, the same thing was there. They're clicking up in little gangs. 20, 30 of them. I'm sitting in the orchestra classroom. Because I wanted to fight one of them because one of them was a punk. He would only talk mess when he was in a group, in a gang of people. But once we got by ourselves, he never used to say anything. So boom, I'm sitting in the orchestra class. Boom, 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 boom. I'm playing. After the class, it was a girl. She tried to set me up. It was a girl said, hey, I need to talk to you outside. I think, what? But before she told me that, I had already looked outside. And it was 20 to 30 people outside waiting to jump me. She tried to set me up. And this is, I'm not gonna lie to you. I looked at the teacher. No, the teacher came and saw me looking distraught. I'm looking out the window. I'm like, oh shit. We you know, this 6th, 7th grade, I'm looking out the window. Oh shit. I'm looking like, what the fuck? 20, 30 people about to jump me. The teacher looked at me like, what's wrong? I said, look. They trying to jump me. So this nigga walked me to the auditorium. So we sitting in the auditorium. Nigga, it's 20, as I said, it's a big gang of them. It's 20, 30 of them. They throwing stuff at me. They pointing at me, doing all this stuff. So I'm like, all right. I know the one who want to fight me and the one I want to fight. So he didn't want to fight me himself. So he tried to get the whole gang. Every time he was by himself, I beat the shit out of him. Beat the brakes off of him every time. They try to play in these gangs and packs. And every single time, I will break you down. It don't matter if you're in a gang or pack. I will break you down. I'm just praying. So that just to say, I went through hard things. I went through circumstances that forced me to defend myself in certain situations that was high pressure. So my mindset has been developed through hardship. I did not become preem through being successful. I did not become preem that way. I did not become a man by becoming successful. You do not become a man by becoming successful. You become a man by going through hardship and pain and suffering and coming out on the other end, telling your woman and your family and your future kids all your stories and hardships that you went through. All this bad stuff happened and I still made it out. Me bear crawling the entire railroad and the train was coming. And I said, if I don't bear crawl this railroad fast enough, then I'm going to just die on these train tracks. Putting yourself through extreme hardship to go through this stuff, to build this mind. Most of you don't try to even construct this. You're like a feather in the wind getting blew around in life. You need to construct your mind. Some of you piss me off.